Hi all, my name is Alicia Papanek. I'm the Edible Garden Club president and the Edible Garden coordinator at Cal State LA. I'm coming to you today to talk to you guys about compost. So we are going to begin composting at Cal State LA in housing dining, which is where you all work. So this guide and this video is really for you guys to learn about what composting is, why it's important, and how to do it in the kitchen. So I hope that this is useful in moving forward, and any other sort of questions that you have, we can definitely address, and we are always available to answer any questions, to teach more, etc. So this is just to get you guys started. So thank you for contributing to a greener world in doing this and in being willing to be part of this process. Your efforts in collecting food scraps and other compostable kitchen items, which we'll talk about more throughout the video, are going to help to reduce landfill waste and to help build soil on our campus and in our garden that we'll then use to grow food to hopefully give to you all or to feed Cal State LA students. So what is compost? And if we were together, this is where I would love to hear from you guys to find out if you know about composting already. I'm sure that as cooks and as people who have worked in kitchens for a long time, you likely already have a lot of experience with this. So, and if you don't, then that's fantastic, and I'm so happy to teach you about it. So compost essentially is super good soil. We use compost as a verb. So we say, when we're talking about kitchen scraps, we say, we are going to compost our banana peel, or I'm going to compost my coffee grounds or something. And we also use compost as a noun. So it is the finished product of decomposed materials, which is this image that you see here in these hands. So it's really super nutritious, really nutrient dense soil that we sort of use as fertilizer in the garden. So food scraps become compost, or they are composted. This is just to help with your language in the kitchen. So this is the composting cycle. So you guys are really in the food and organics and the scraps and the collection portion of this cycle, which is a really important part of the circle. So when you guys are working in the kitchen and you're preparing fruits and vegetables, you're preparing onions to go into stocks, or you're, preparing salads or whatever it may be, you inevitably have some green waste that comes off of that. So you might have carrot tops, you might have garlic peels, you might have apple cores. There's a whole host of things that you might be coming across. So instead of putting those things into the garbage can, these scraps are actually going to go into a collection bin, a compost collection bin, which we'll talk about more later. From there, people from the Edible Garden Club are going to come and pick up those bins, those collection bins, and bring them out to the garden to process. So the things that you guys collect are called greens or food scraps. It's just how we sort of talk about it in compost language. We have our greens and our browns, our air, our water, and our decomposers that are all the 5 crucial ingredients to making compost. So you guys are actually collecting the most important ingredient, which is the thing that really adds the nutrient value to the soil. So we do greens, we do browns, which are things like mulch, wood chips, twigs, dead leaves, newspaper, anything that's really carbon rich and dry. This helps to keep oxygen in the soil, which we need because our piles are aerobic. We also often add water, and then our decomposers are microbes and bacteria that are really good garden bacteria. And then also bugs like roly-polies and earwigs and worms and ladybugs and different kinds of flies and larvae. There's all kinds of, it might sound a little bit gross. You definitely don't want those things in your kitchen, but out in the garden, they do amazing things. So that turns into compost, which we used before, which is a soil amendment. It acts as a fertilizer, basically. So that soil amendment then goes into our edible garden to grow more food, which we then use to feed Cal State LA students and teach people about growing food. This is our beautiful compost cycle. So why do we compost? Why is it important to do this? Why is it important to make these changes in the kitchen, to have another bin that's solely for this thing? So, when we're making behavior changes in the kitchen, and especially things that we're so used to doing, I find it to be really helpful to know why we're doing this. Like, why do I have to collect this stuff in this bin? So reducing landfill waste and greenhouse gases is an incredibly crucial part to this. So landfills, when we put stuff in the garbage can and into a plastic bag, those plastic bags get tied, they go to the landfill, and they eventually break down. But instead of breaking down in these composting processes, they have a million other things, including other kinds of toxic contaminants, and they release methane gas, which is contributing to climate change and global warming. They also create this toxic sludge that goes into our groundwater, affects our drinking water and our rivers and our lakes, and therefore our ecosystems. So it's really important to keep as much as we possibly can out of the landfill. This then goes to building healthy soils. It improves water holding capacity in our soil, which especially in Southern California, where we have drought, and we really have to be careful about our water usage because water is a precious resource. This is a sort of no-brainer why we compost in Southern California. It also helps to reduce the need for chemical fertilizers. Like we said before, it's a super nutritious way to just feed your plants. So it also helps to keep resources local and build community. We have this wealth of resources in our kitchen that's but 100 feet away from our garden that can go into making these really healthy soils. And while we're making healthy soil, we're also teaching people about what it means to grow food, how to do it, and how we really talk about sustainable food systems and our waste in university systems like ours. So there's a lot of really amazing reasons why we do these things. So how do we compost? In the kitchen specifically, so we're going to collect kitchen compostables. So you are going to have a bin that might look similar to this bin. It might look a little bit different. It's going to be a bin that is your compost bin. It's your compost collection bin. And anytime you are at your prep table, you're doing any of your mise en place, you're working with vegetables, you're working with anything that could go into the compost bin, you're going to grab your bin and you're going to keep it next to you at your station so that it's super easy to just put stuff into the bin. So fruits and vegetables, anything from a fruit and vegetable can go into the compost bin. So this means your banana peels, your carrot peels, your beet peels, your lettuce ends, your citrus peels, onion tops, onion peels, garlic paper, sprouting potatoes, any sort of greens that might be going off or maybe are getting moldy, apple cores, melon peels, literally anything that comes from a fruit or vegetable, as long as it's not cooked with a lot of fat, can go into the compost bin. Coffee grounds and filters, so both the used grounds that are inside and the paper filter can both go into the compost bin. That includes tea bags and paper tea filters. Shredded newspapers, eggshells. Eggshells are fantastic in the compost. They have a ton of calcium. They're incredible for soil. Those can all go into the compost bin. Any soiled napkins, so like nothing that you use to wipe up a bunch of grease on the counter, but like if you dried your hands on a napkin, that can go into the compost bin. Paper is totally fine in the compost bin. So like I said, paper towels, just nothing that has like a film to it, nothing that has been coated with anything plastic seeming, nothing shiny, like it has to be that sort of dull newspaper feel. Stale bread can also go into the compost as long as it doesn't have like a lot of sugar in it or like cinnamon swirl or dried fruit. I mean, that might be able to go in, but mostly just like your garden variety, French bread, sourdough bread, those things, the bread that have really simple ingredients, that stuff can go into the compost too. And then old flowers. I don't know why you guys would have bunches of old flowers, but if you do, those can also go into the compost bin. So after you're done collecting, after you're done with your prep, you're going to take your lid, put your lid onto the bin, and then put it away somewhere where it's out of where it's out of the way of everybody else's workstation. So it shouldn't smell. This is a common question that I get. Doesn't the compost smell? It might smell a little bit, but it won't smell any worse than rotting garbage. The lid will eliminate that smell, and we're going to be picking up twice a week. So hopefully we'll be able to sort of grab things before they really start to smell. And it'll just smell like rotting fruit. Like it'll be a little bit sweet, and it's sort of a smell that you get used to and that you grow to love, which might be weird, but it is what it is. Us kitchen people can be freaky about this kind of stuff. Okay, so we leave a couple of things out of the bin. So sort of there's a lot of obvious things that we leave out of the bin, like aluminum cans, tin cans, plastic, glass bottles, things like that. Anything that goes into the recycling bin, just keep in the recycling bin. It can't go into the compost. Things that are less obvious when it comes to food are meat and dairy scraps. So any bones, any old meat, any cheese rinds, old yogurt or milk, that kind of stuff cannot go into the compost. In some industrial compost it can, but it attracts a lot of animals. We don't really want a ton of animals in our garden space. Some are fine, but we don't need hordes of raccoons rifling through our compost. So we keep meat and dairy out of the bin. Nothing that is really fatty or greasy or oily. So like old oil can't go in there, or like salad dressings, things like that. Like you don't want to empty that kind of stuff into the compost. That stuff should still go into the trash. Bioplastics or like eco containers, even though they say that they're compostable, they cannot go into our compost bin. They can barely go into any compost bin. So those are kind of, those go into the trash. No plastics, no metals, no glass. So these are the things that can't go. Oh, if you have any questions about any of these things, our information is going to be at the end of this video, and we are always available to field questions. So doing this might take some getting used to. There's no doubt that we're asking sort of you to incorporate this new system into your daily routine at work, which might feel a little bit weird. You might forget sometimes, which is totally okay. As long as we sort of get into the habit and make sure that we're holding our peers accountable for doing this. So, like I said, we know that you have your flow in the kitchen, and we know that this is a new step in the normal process. I promise that collecting compost becomes second nature in the kitchen. It is like you don't even realize that you're doing it after a while. I have this bin that I keep one of these bins on my kitchen counter, and it has a ton of stuff in it, actually. It's got lots of fun stuff. That might need to be taken out. So talk to your coworkers, talk to your chefs, talk to your kitchen managers, talk to your friends and your family. Teach everybody that you know about composting, and tell them about what you're doing at work and about this cool system. Tell them about why it's so important. And thank you for contributing to a sustainable food system at Cal State LA. It is truly amazing, and I'm so grateful that you guys are on board and that you're willing to take part in this project. So to learn more or to get in touch, you can reach out to the Edible Garden Club of Cal State LA. Our email and Instagram is here, ediblegardenclub.calstatela@gmail.com, or you can visit us on Instagram at ediblegardenclub.calstatela. Really looking forward to working with you all, and thank you so much. It's truly a pleasure.